Have you ever considered doing a 72-hour water fast? Over the last year, I've heard of more and more folks just getting really curious about the benefits of doing like various types of fasting. So for me, 72 hours, no food, and let's just say I was shocked. It was Friday, and I was talking to my good friend just about how I have been feeling myself kind of in this cycle of just being really, really, really tough on myself. Like that I could have this great week, but that there would still be kind of this piece of me that was saying that it wasn't enough, or I didn't hit the results that I wanted to, or whatever it may be. And on top of being really tough on myself, I could feel that my breakthrough was right around the corner, but this like brain fog and the circle of frustration and lack of focus, it was just getting in the way. And then she shared with me that she had actually just come off of a 72-hour water fast and that she had gained life changing clarity on the other side of it. And I've got to say that although I was intrigued, okay, let's be real truthful here. I also had all of those like usual thoughts that I've had previously of things like, there's no way I could go without food. Or like, I'm sure I'd get, a caffeine headache, or yeah, no way I'd feel too lethargic. Like, this girl likes to eat. Like, I don't even know if I could go a day without food. Okay. And then also, too, let's just kind of acknowledge the fact that I am not necessarily like in this space in my life where I feel like I need a cleanse. I mean, I'm very fortunate that really truly outside of this busted ankle from a few weeks back, like that my body is pretty healthy, and I'm grateful for that health. And so I didn't necessarily feel like I needed a body cleanse. And then the other thing too, just to kind of set the scene about my own personal health journey and whatnot, is that sometimes I do, sometimes unintentionally, sometimes intentionally, I do the intermediate fasting pretty regularly. So for instance, we eat dinner on average anytime between 5 and 7 p.m. And then I'm up between 5 and 7 a.m. And I usually have like my cup of coffee. And then my next meal can come anytime, really, truly between, sometimes it is 8 a.m., sometimes it's 1 p.m., just kind of all depending on the day. I'm pretty good also about just like listening to my body. And well, yes, again, if you would ask me like what my ideal weight is, I can tell you also that in my mind, I have probably a good like 30 pounds. Okay. I say that with an exaggeration, but truly, right? We all have our ideal weight in our mind. According to my ideal weight, I'm actively, or I'm not actively, which is part of the problem, actually. I probably have about 30 pounds that I wish I didn't, but I am not actively trying to get those 30 pounds off. So in, roundabout way, I can't necessarily say that it's that important to me, otherwise I would be doing something. That's my philosophy anyway. So anywho, fast forward, have this conversation with my friend on Friday. And then now it's Saturday and we're having a barbecue. We're hosting a little neighborhood barbecue. And one of the neighbors actually shares that he also just recently completed this 72-hour water fast. And now at this point, not only am I intrigued, but I'm kind of feeling like this, hey, wait a second, is this a sign thing? Like two people who I care for, I trust, like not just like some random social media influencers, okay? Like two people in two very parts of the country, two very parts of life. They are sitting there and they're telling me about the benefits that they've experienced with this water fast. And so I could definitely tell that the seed had been planted, but I had made zero commitments at that point. Well, we go on to live our life on Saturday and we have a full day on Sunday. And as I am sitting there eating my fried rice for dinner, I have this thought creep in of why not? Like in my mind, I was kind of replaying what the week ahead would look like. We weren't leaving until Thursday morning for a trip. So my husband also was going to be on shift on Wednesday. For me, that was going to be the last 24 hours of my fast, which That matters to me because he's always cooking these like amazing things. And I know that that would just make the temptation all the more not it would just be too much. Okay. So I convinced myself that my fried rice right then and there, it's going to be my last salty, wonderful thing I enjoy for the next 3 days. And why not? Let's just see how it goes. If I need to try and I just make it 24 hours, like I can do that too. No harm, no foul. Like just go for it. And so I did. Okay. And obviously, I'm not a licensed health professional, and this is purely my own account and understanding of a 72-hour fast. So, not everyone else's experience is going to be the same, as if I really do have to make that disclaimer, but I sure as heck will. If you have ever considered doing this, it's definitely worth a listen to just see like what you might be able to expect and what I did to get through those 72 hours. Pretty easy breezy. Yeah, you heard me. I said it was actually pretty easy. So here's what it looked like for me. So I wake up Monday morning. I have this like collagen biotin coffee packet thing that I normally drink. Well, it doesn't hit me until later that the fast isn't just about not eating food. It's about not giving your body like the extra hit of sugars and proteins and all the things. So, crap, already start this thing and realize later that I wasn't doing it quote unquote the right way. So now, right, quick pivot. Now I guess my fast doesn't officially start until Monday morning. Okay, cool. Keep going. So for the rest of the fast, I only did water, tea, and black coffee. And then also, I do take a daily multivitamin, and I continue to take that during my fast. And I'm always going to because I just know how incredible they are. So, vitamin in the AM, water, tea, and black coffee for the next 3 days. My first 24 hours, I drank a lot of warm water, and every once in a while, like if I felt a headache coming on or if I just needed something a little different, I would take just a swig of black coffee here and there. I did intentionally give myself a big project to complete on Monday. So I knew it was going to be something that I could put like all of my time and my focus and my energy into. So specifically, it was cleaning out my closet. It was going to keep me busy all day. And I was busy, I was distracted, however you want to say it. Like my day got sucked into that closet versus like moseying around the house or trying to create an excuse to need a snack or be anywhere near the kitchen. That worked really, really well for me. For dinner, I just heated up the family some leftovers, and the family actually ate in front of the TV, which worked out really well while I just sat on my laptop and I worked on a project. So again, the art of distraction worked. Mwah, chef's kiss. Tuesday morning, I wake up, I have a cup of tea. And what I did with this one is I just had the same tea bag, and I just kept refilling the water until about 2 o'clock because it was a caffeine or it was a caffeinated tea. So I did that until about 2 o'clock. And then after that, I just continued with just still the warm water. Well, we get to Tuesday, and I start realizing, again, you can laugh. We all have our strengths. Okay. There are certain things that I do that I'm very type A, plan out, strategic about. And then there are some just things that I jump head first in and we'll figure the details out later. This was definitely one of those because Tuesday I start to realize, oh crap, I haven't eaten for a certain amount of time. There's probably a way that you have to actually like break the fast. And I had no idea. And it wasn't until then, so at this point, 36-ish, we'll say probably 30, 40 hours in to my fast, that I actually started doing some research. Again, we all have our strengths. Judge if you want. This is just my story. So what I learned, and I want to share this with you because, again, mind-blowing, fascinating. I had no idea what I was doing for my body. So what I found out is that in the first 12 hours that the body starts to burn through the glucose and the insulin levels drop. So this is really good, for instance, like for your liver, and it kind of like primes and kickstarts metabolism a little bit. Between hours 12 and 24, that's really when like the fat burning kicks in. So these ketones begin to form, which basically is just like your body creating fuel for itself. And then early autophagy, I believe is how you say it, that starts. And basically, this autophagy, what this is cellular cleanup. And so it starts doing it on its own. From hour 24 to 36, the ketone production increases, your inflammation decreases, and the body just begins like this deep, deep repair. At hours 36 to 48, your growth hormone surges and your stem cells actually, like your stem cell activity, it starts to rise. And then right at about like 48 to 60 hours, this is where your immune system starts to regenerate itself. Basically, I found out that the old white blood cells they're broken, like they're broken down and they are replaced. So this is also too where mental clarity like often peaks and where your fat stores are really being used efficiently. In the final 12 hours, so 60 to 72, yep, the body basically sits in this full ketosis. Autophagy just continues just working at that deep cellular level. And a lot of folks say that there's this, again, this deep like sense of focus and calm and renew. So across the entire fast, basically what's happening is that your insulin sensitivity improves, your inflammation drops, and the body shifts into this powerful healing and regenerative mode. So our bodies, they're amazing. They're truly amazing. So I learn about all of these benefits. And now, like I said, I'm about that 40-hour mark into this thing. And you better believe at this point, I'm like, I can make this. That 72-hour mark, I'm going to make it and I'm going to hit all of it because I want this to all be worth it. So Tuesday night rolls around. That's my second night around dinner time. I did start hearing that tummy grumble just a little bit, but really, I felt like it was more so the body just recognizing the pattern of the evening and kind of was like, hey, yo, it's time to eat. But I don't know if I could say that I was actually hungry. So again, I tossed some dinner into the oven for the family. I then actually hot tubbed while it cooked. So I wasn't even in the house while it was smelling all good. Then the family ate while I showered, got my jammies again. And then we did our normal nightly routine. So that art of staying busy and distracted, huge difference. Now roll around, we're to Wednesday morning. So now I'm in my last 24 hours. And I've got to say, by far the easiest. It's one of those like if you can get past the first 48 hours, the end is just so close that you're just like, hey, you know what? I'm going to hunker in and I'm going to do this. And so what I did is I intentionally carved out time to just sit in prayer and journaling and worship. Back to that last Friday when I was talking with my friend, like I was seeking some mental clarity. And I knew and we talk about this all the time on the podcast, I know the importance of actually making space for it. We can't have breakthroughs if we don't make space for the breakthroughs. We can't figure out what our purpose is if we don't make space for our purpose. We can't. We can't connect with people if we don't make space for people. So I knew the importance of making this space. And so my entire morning, it had the purpose of just reconnecting and hearing my own thoughts and just getting into the word. So it actually wouldn't be until later in discussing my friend or discussing my fast with a friend that I would really actually understand some more of the spiritual aspects of a 72-hour water fast. And that was really cool too, just to learn the way that these biblical heroes would fast for clarity, or even to the way that Jesus would again be the example of taking like his fleshly desires down to nothing, and for him to resist the temptation of those desires of his flesh, and so that he could be that example of like choosing and following and being obedient to God's bigger plan. So while I know that I still have major blind spots, okay, and the importance of like fasting spiritually, again, it was just this wonderful experience just to open up my body and my mind to learning and getting to experience more of it. So that was pretty cool too. Okay. At this point, Wednesday morning, also too, like what it felt like when I knew ketosis was in full force. So we're now at about probably 50 to 60 hours into this thing. That's where I could really tell I had been I had hit the full ketosis. So what that felt like for me was an elevated heart rate. Now, I wasn't to the point of like concern, like out of breath or anything like that, but I could tell that it was elevated. I could tell that it was kind of on and off for the remainder of the fast, just with that heart rate kind of bouncing a little bit more rapidly than usual. But again, nothing where it was like, oh my gosh, my heart's going to pump out of my chest. Nothing like that. So throughout the entire cleanse, I can say that I was absolutely shocked at how amazing I felt. No brain fog, the inflammation in my body, it made things just feel loose and like a well-oiled machine, and my energy was top notch. Like not once did I feel tired or lethargic or like I was incapable of accomplishing the physical tasks of my day. My sleep maybe wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't awful. So, yeah, I had some maybe like weird dreams the first night, and that could have just been some initial hunger setting in. The second night, I had a little bit of restlessness to it, but again, not awful. The third night, I slept a little at the beginning of the evening, but I was up probably at about 3 a.m., maybe, just laying there counting down the seconds until I'd have my first meal a few hours later. So I think that at the end, like I was ready to end the fast, but I don't think that it was necessarily a body thing. I just think that it was some personal anxiousness about uh, us having plans to leave town the following morning and be gone for the entire weekend. So I just because I had done this thing kind of on a whim, I didn't quite realize that I'd need to fast for 72 hours, but then I'd need to take like the next 24 hours to kind of get the system back on again and actually break the fast in a way that wasn't going to kick my butt, like literally, figuratively, all the things. So, the other thing too I wanted to mention is just from a weight perspective. So I lost about 7.5 pounds in 3 days. And a week later, okay, after a weekend camping trip with all of your normal camping foods, brats, hamburgers, s'mores, drinking the cocktails, playing the beer games, like I lived life this past week, okay? A week later, I'm actually still down almost 6 pounds. So although I didn't do it for the weight loss, like I could see me leveraging this 72-hour fast in the future as a weight loss kickstart for sure. Let's talk about some of the like breaking the fast, because I'll say that was actually the worst part of the whole thing for me. So my last meal was Sunday night, but then I had that coffee packet thing that I know added all those sugars Monday morning. So I had that at about Monday at 5 a.m. So I'm considering that my fast went from 5 a.m. Monday to 5 a.m. Wednesday. At 5 a.m. on Wednesday, I added 1 cup of chicken broth to my hot water cup. First off, that tastes gross. Okay, it's not yummy. And though, yeah, it's not great, but it's 1 cup, and I got it down over the course of probably about 30 minutes. I did tell when I was describing this to my husband, it felt like that moment, felt like the generator for like a system had been shut down. So system had been turned off. And it was like having that cup of chicken broth was like turning the system back on, like the whoop, system coming back online. And it was awful. It was the first time in 3 days that I felt nauseous. I felt a wave of exhaustion. And I'll tell you, in the middle of it, I was convinced I'd probably never do it again so it was 30 minutes of not funness. Okay. I ate 30 minutes later, I then ate half of an avocado, and just having something like solid hit my belly, that was a game changer. So chicken broth to turn her on, and then avocado to actually like fuel the thing and to start pushing something through the system. And from there, it was really just about taking things slow. So I knew, again, I keep mentioning this trip. I knew that we were going to be heading out Thursday morning. Oh, yeah. So it was Thursday. Yeah, Thursday at 5 a.m. is when I had the chicken broth. So I knew that I'd be hitting the road at about 8 a.m. for our trip. So the night before, I actually made a fruit smoothie and I just froze it. So banana, strawberry, blueberry, a scoop of the super clean protein powder that we love, and then a scoop of yogurt just to kind of reintroduce some dairy. It took me about an hour and a half to drink the smoothie, but purely that wasn't a internal system thing. That was because the thing was freaking frozen. And so I actually think that was probably one of the most brilliant moves on my part and really set myself up for success. I will absolutely do the frozen smoothie thing again. Another hour after having my smoothie, so this is like about 10, 11 a.m., I had half of a breakfast burrito. So now you're talking about eggs, sausage, cheese, and tortilla. So that's like those carbs now starting to be introduced. Another 30 minutes, I ate the other half of the burrito. Then maybe 2 hours after that, I had another half of another burrito. And then I ate the other half of that burrito because I had 2 breakfast burritos an hour later. So I was just really good about drinking my water in between eating and just taking it slow. I kind of figure the whole water thing is like, if you don't drink enough water while you're drinking alcohol, like it's probably best to do, right? Some water, food, water, food, water, food. So that was my mentality. Again, no doctor here, just what's worked for me. For dinner, also too, my friend, I want you to know that I had a Philly cheesesteak that evening. So I did go light on the bread. I had it, but I went light on it. I did go light on the meat portion too. Again, had it. And then I just loaded up on eating as many veggies as I wanted. No booze that first 24 hours off the fast, and probably even more water than I had on the other days. Again, just to really like keep things moving along. Okay. By the next morning, first bowel movement happens, whoop, whoop. And then right there, that really for me felt like the conclusion of the fast. So I knew that the system was back on, it was running healthy, and we had no issues in the stomach or the gut. And I absolutely then did celebrate with a good old fashioned screwdriver to kick things off because, hey, we were camping and that's what you do. So cleanse done, 72-hour water fast done, like all good things. And I can honestly tell you it was 1,000 gazillion times easier than I thought it was going to be. And my body, like how I felt, I just felt this inner deep, deep sense of healing. And it's really hard to explain. It's like I know I'm probably going to sound crazy, but for me, it just felt like pieces of me that I didn't even know needed healing, or pieces of me that I didn't know were sick. Like my body showed up for me and it just took care of those things. I felt deeply healed. So a few things that I'll do different next time. I absolutely really do wish and that I would have started my cleanse in the evening, like had a lighter meal about 5, 6 o'clock, and then just go to bed, because I just feel like it kind of kickstarts your hours that way. And then by the time you wake up, you're already not necessarily halfway done with your first day, but you've put in some hours already. Also, for breaking the fast, I just think that it would be huge, like to have that 1 cup of chicken broth in the evening. So again, 5, 6 o'clock to like turn the system back on. Then 30 minutes later, have, that half of avocado. And then maybe even like another hour later, so literally right before bed, have a good like protein shake, or even half a chicken breast or some rice. And then you're just giving that body those 8 hours of sleep to digest and get things going, versus having to be so careful with the eating only a little every hour or so. I imagine you'd probably wake up the next day and then most likely be ready for, for eggs and toast or a fresh smoothie as a snack or something like that. During the cleanse also, I think this was probably another really good move on my part. I had a lot of hot water because I just kind of figured that it would probably smooth the belly, smooth the belly. No, soothe the belly. Same thing, I guess. Soothe the belly. And then hot water just in general, like I have tea at night. It always makes me feel a little more full. It's comforting. So that I also had just your basic tea, and then combined over the 3 days, I maybe had 10 sips total of black coffee, which for the record, still not a fan of. But whenever I felt that little headache maybe coming on, like I'd just take a swig of the coffee. And I kind of felt like it would kickstart and jolt the system a little bit. And that was good. Overall, I imagine I will be incorporating the 72-hour fast into my annual or maybe even like a biannual routine. I just think it was incredible for my body, even the mental reset. And then I enjoyed the spiritual aspects of it too, whether that's your jam or not. But either way, I just really appreciated how incredible our bodies are. Like the way that we can heal ourselves sometimes, or the way that we're designed to survive, or even to like just the opportunity to see how bad some of the food we eat, just like how hard that is on our bodies. So the unjuggle summary of the 72-hour water fast is that if you haven't done it, try it. Like pay attention to your body, and then also give your body more credit than maybe you previously have. Like if you thought that, oh, I could never do something like that, just know that we can do hard things. We can do things that our brains try to tell us that we cannot, like living and not just surviving, but actually thriving without food for 3 days. That's crazy. Like we are so much more capable than we give ourselves credit for. So let me know if you want to do this thing, or if you'd want to do this together. I'm thinking I'd probably either do like a mid holiday reset or maybe even after the holiday season. So I'll keep you posted, but just reach out to me. Let me know. We can make a pact. Okay. And then we can do it together. And then, hey, just as always, like this is your friendly reminder that you can create the life that you dream of. Anything you want to do, it's absolutely possible. Like a life of full, deep meaning and purpose and joy and freedom. And if you feel like you're spiraling in burnout, or you're lacking fulfillment in just how you're spending your days, please visit the website, fill out that inquiry form just so that we can work together, or at a minimum, like have a conversation where I can just suggest, okay, some readily available tools to just get you started on a more purposeful and intentional living journey. It's been really amazing over the last couple months. My clients are doing everything from leaving jobs they've always hated, or to actually enjoying their jobs again, to healing relationships with family members, and to starting their own purpose-driven, like legacy building businesses. So when you have the right person in your corner with the right tools and the right level of accountability, whew, the possibilities are endless. So I'm so excited to hear your story and just the dreams that you're ready to start turning into reality. So email me or fill out that form for details. And until next time, bye. Hey, thanks for listening to today's episode. It means the world to me that you're here to ride in the struggle bus with me, and that you're willing to consider different perspectives, tools, and techniques that just might provide a little bit of relief and get you one step closer to the abundance that is available and waiting for us all. I hope you take a moment to grant yourself some grace where you've been denying it, some love where you didn't realize maybe it was right in front of you, and some faith where you thought all was lost. If this episode had an impact on you, would you please share a comment with a review? I'd love to hear what landed for you, and it helps us get the word out to our fellow struggle bus riders. So please review what was impactful for you. Just know these episodes are a pure labor of love in a space where I'm growing alongside you. I'm evolving every day, and I look forward to all the ways and the things and the perspectives and opinions and choices that will change over the course of time in my own life, day to day. Until next time, just know that you are loved, you are divinely cared for, and in the struggle, the journey of this life really is beautiful. I'm glad that we're in it together. Cheers.